Hello everyone, welcome to my video. This is exercise number 7. Do you know that in the previous lesson, in the last exercise, exercise number 6, I got the wrong lesson? Why? That's because in today's lesson, we are just going to talk about this picture, about this pattern sentence. I make a mistake in my exam. But in the previous lesson, I had already mentioned it. Yes, I intended to talk about a series of mistakes that people usually or sometimes make in their life. Yes, I talked about a mistake that people make in their life, not just in speaking English. Okay, first I want to review the definition of this word, the key word, mistake. Mistake is an action or an opinion that is incorrect, that is not correct, and that produces a result that you didn't want. Okay, and do you still remember how many mistakes that I introduced to you in the last lesson? I gave you three common mistakes. And by the way, I want to review a little bit. First is you make a wrong turn. You make a wrong turn, it means that you are lost when you go somewhere. And of course, you had direction on how to way to 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 get there to the place you want to get there, but sometimes for some reason you make a wrong turn, so you are lost. Okay, and these days you can easily find some places with GPS application, right? The next one is you make a spelling mistake. This is a normal mistake because especially when you were a child, right? Okay, when even though you pronounce some words correctly, but you still spell when you write down incorrectly, right? And the last one is you make a mistaken identity. It means that a person thought you were someone else. This mistake usually or always happen especially when you meet twins brothers or twin sisters. That's because they look quite the same in appearance. Okay? They look quite the same, and you easily sorry you are so it is so difficult for you to tell them apart. You don't know who is the younger, who is the older. Okay, and in the previous lesson I also tell you a story, and an ancient story. Okay, that's is attractive, right? That was attractive, right? And in today's lesson, I continue talking about this topic, mistakes that people or you sometimes make in your life. And of course, I will introduce to you three mistakes. And the first, and I hope this video is helpful for you so that you can learn some new phrases when you want to talk about the topic mistakes. And I think these are common mistakes. Yes, everyone, at least in your life, make these mistakes at least one time. Okay, first now is calling someone the wrong name. Calling someone the wrong name. Sometimes you call someone the wrong name, right? Especially, for example, when you are a teacher and at the beginning of a school year, when you just receive or you just get a new class, and the students are so strange for you, so strange to you, so are new to you, right? And you at that time you can remember exactly their faces, their names, right? And then when your students raise their hands to answer some questions, okay, and you certainly or you maybe you certainly call a student the wrong name, right? Okay, and I think day by day gradually these uh, mistake doesn't happen because at that time you know more about them, okay, you get acquainted to them. Okay, now by the way, I will tell you a funny story happened to one of my relative. Yes, one day he, the main character in this funny story, he uh, took his new girlfriend to his house to introduce her to his parents, and her name was Fu. Yes, of course, Fu wasn't his first. I mean that Fu wasn't the first girl he took to his house. Fu wasn't the first girl he liked. Yes, I think this is normal. This is nothing special. That's because you, right? You make friends with many girlfriends. You get acquainted to many girls, and finally, you pick out the best one, the best girl to get married, right? That's because you have to choose, you have to pick out. Pick out means choose carefully, to select carefully the best one, the best girl that is suitable for you, the girl that you can that you have the same opinion, the same point of view, or the girl that can share all things with you in their life, in our life, right? So this is very normal, right? But the funny thing is that while talking to Fu, his mother, sometimes accidentally called her the wrong name. That's maybe his mother was so old that he did. Maybe his mother was impressed another girl deeply, so that she made this mistake. But the problem is how might, how emotions, how feelings that Fu could have got. What do you think about this? Well, if you were her, if you were her, what could you think of? So now tell me some emotion or feelings that Fu could have. Maybe jealous, maybe, right? Sad, of course. So bored, of course, right? That's because maybe no one what future brings, okay? Maybe when Fu get married to him, right? His mother loved her so much later, but at that right moment, Fu wasn't Fu wasn't Fu didn't make a good impression on her, right? At that right moment, Fu wasn't the first person, the first girl he loved. Fu was the person coming later, right? And of course, that I think that is a normal feeling that people get uh, we when someone called you the wrong name, right? And by the way, I'm going to share an experience that according to some researches, okay, people said that or especially when you meet someone at the first time, if you can know and call someone's name exactly, it brings you many benefits, right? Why? That's because you know that your name is something specific. Your name is something lovely. Your name is something mean to you, right? And when you meet someone as the first time, when they can know and remember your name exactly, you feel that, oh, they remember you, right? They acknowledge you. They realize you. They respect you, right? And all think that it means you are important to them, all right? Or they appreciate you, okay? That's the reason why know and call someone's name correctly is very important, especially in business when you meet your partner, your partner, right? Because if you put yourself in the same situation, you can easily understand feeling in that story, right? And you can know the importance of calling someone the correct name. Okay, and that's all about the first mistake I want to share with you. I hope that story is interactive. And now next we have another come to another mistake. That is burning something. Burning something, where it happens when you cook something. For example, when you cook something, when you bake something, you need to bake or cook something for a certain amount of time, right? For example, when you bake something and you have to set the timer, you set the timer, for example, bit in about 12 minutes, for example. But for some reason, you forget it. You forget that you are cooking something, right? And it means that you lose track of time. Track of time. And now I give you an example. Now you want to bake a cake. You want to make a cake, and then you put that cake in the oven, and then you turn on the stove, and and you set the timer for about 10 minutes, and you go out doing something and you don't remember it, and all of a sudden and all of a sudden you you smell something burning, okay? At that time you hurriedly run to the kitchen and turn off the oven, okay, or the microwave, for example. And of course your cake gets burnt. It means that your cake is overcooked. It means that you cook the cake for too long, and your cake turns into black, okay? And maybe you have to scrape it out, and eat the red part of the cake. Yes. And I think burning something is a common mistake that you face several times in your life, right? And it means that you lose a track of time. For example, sometimes when you were absorbed in doing something, and you don't pay attention too much on cooking, and you easily make this mistake, right? You you turn on the gas stove, and then you leave the pan on the stove, and you go out doing something, or you are absorbed in talking someone on the phone, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, something, something smell burning, right? And you smell something burning, okay? And a funny thing that um, the person knowing or realize something burning is not yourself, is not you who is right in the kitchen, but it is another person, the person who is maybe in the living room, maybe it's in the outside, is in the yard. Why? Because when when food is cooked, okay, the smell is rising up, that's the reason why people who are far away, who is um, in the other place, can smell something burning earlier than you, maybe your neighbor is the first person, or is the person smell something burning earlier than you, something burning in your house before you, right? Okay, now come to the last mistake I want to share with you today is bite your tongue. Bite your tongue. Bite your tongue. You bite your tongue. You bite yourself, right? You definitely used to experience the feeling of biting yourself, biting your tongue, right? Yes. But well, I'm sure that if you bite your tongue hard, it really hurts, right? It hurts terribly, yes, and you may cry with pain. It's never a good feeling, right? And you bite your tongue for some reasons. For example, when you are really hungry and you are really eating fast and you bite your tongue. Or sometimes you bite your tongue when um, if you speak while you are eating, okay, so it is recommended, please don't speak when your mouth full. It means don't speak when you are eating something, okay. Don't speak while your mouth full, with your mouth full, not only helps you keep polite, but also keeps you prevent from biting your tongue. Okay, now by the way, I will want to tell you a true story happened to me when I was at school. Yes, one day I had the literature class, and students were required to make presentation one of Sun Quing's poems. Yes, and I was one of the presenter that day. On that day, of course, I made a good preparation for the lesson, for the lecture, and I was eager to wait to my turn to present my lecture, to give my lecture. Although I also got embarrassed or confused at first, but I quickly kept calm, and I was confident. I was confident to present my lecture. A funny thing happened. Okay, while I was talking, while I was in the middle of the sections, I accidentally bit my tongue. Yes, I bit my tongue hard, and of course, I couldn't think anything. Yes, at that right moment, I just in a very short time, in a second, I closed my eye, and swallow. means swallow. Close my eye and just thought, oh, it hurts terribly. It hurts terribly. Yes, I couldn't think anything. Of course, when you are at home and when you are eating a meal and if you bite your tongue, you can cry out with pain. Oh, ouch! It hurt. I bite your tongue. It hurts. It hurts terribly, right? But at that time, I were in a public place. I couldn't cry out. That's beautiful. Otherwise, my friends or my teacher looked at me and may laughed at me because they know that. Yes, and at that moment, I just thought myself also really, really hurts. Okay, and I think it took me about 4 or 5 seconds to stop my presentation, and just to talk about my pain. Yes, it really, really hurt. Yes, normally, and when you were a child, when I think you at least make made this mistake several times. You made mistake several times. Sorry, once a few years, I think so. And I think it is also a common mistake that you make in your life. Okay, that's all. That's it. It's all about mistakes I want to share with you today. Hope you enjoy it. And okay, by the end of this lesson, I my voice is not quite good, or my presentation isn't good because I had many interruptions while I'm talking. Okay, but no problem. Okay, I think I give a good lecture in tonight's lesson. Okay, see you soon tonight at 7:30. Okay, bye bye.